I ran out of water. What should I do? Can I borrow yours?
Sorry, dude. Same here.
Why does this always happen to me?
You spoiled brats! What are you doing here? You're wasting clean drinking water!
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Seriously, a crisis. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. It's happening all over the world, especially in developing areas of sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. It's a water crisis because it starts with water. But water affects everything. Education, health, poverty, and especially women and children. Let's look at a family caught in the water crisis. It's likely they live on less than $1 a day. When they're thirsty, they can't just turn on the faucet for a nice cold glass of water. They don't have a faucet. Instead, the women and children go off to collect water. Many walk up to 3 hours a day to the nearest swamp, pond, or river to gather water that's been sitting out in the open, exposed to all kinds of germs. Time spent gathering water is time they can't spend learning to read, write, earn an income, or take care of their family. Some women in sub-Saharan Africa spend more time collecting water than any other activity they do in the day. And the walk isn't just hard, it's dangerous. The women are alone and burdened with 40 pounds of water. Many get hurt. Sometimes they're even attacked. When they make it home, the little water they've collected isn't clean. Some families know their water is contaminated with germs that cause diarrhea, dehydration, even death. But what choice do they have? Kids, especially babies, are affected most by these germs. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. And each day, almost 1 billion people are living this way.
Since this is the case of most of the developed countries, let's take Cambodia, a country located in Southeast Asia, as an example and examine the water crisis there in more details. Welcome to Cambodia. 15.6 billion people inhabit this beautiful land, and its tourism is also expanding rapidly. Unfortunately, 3.8 million of these people lack access to clean water, and 9 million lack access to improved sanitation. In a country like Cambodia, the main source of any Cambodians' drinking water will come from rainfall. However, the rainfall is full of parasites and viruses which cause the Cambodians to get sick. The contaminated water mainly comes from improper waste disposal. Cambodians throw their trash on the floor, and those trash just sits in mucky water and leaks some toxins into it. The lack of infrastructure also causes the contaminated groundwater to mix with feces and other types of man-made waste and viruses, such as E. coli. Over 380 Cambodian children under the age of 5 die each year from diarrhea caused by the unsafe water and poor sanitation. The level of access to water supply in rural areas is significantly low, with approximately 80% of Cambodians living in rural areas poorly access to safe water and sanitation. So what can we do to improve the situation in Cambodia? Fortunately, the average annual percentage of humidity is 77%, and the major transportation in Cambodia is bicycle. Therefore, we decided to make a water purification machine attached on the bicycle that human acts as a generator to produce clean water during cycling. We've found some companies that use a solar panel to let the bottle fill itself.
Teaser Christoph is a designer who has created a unique bottle, exploiting the principle of condensation of moisture from the air to produce drinking water in any environment. Of course, the amount of water produced depends on factors such as humidity or temperature water. The device is powered by solar energy and comprises a capacitor which functions as a refrigerator connected to a series of hydrophobic surfaces water repellent. This bottle can produce half a liter of water in an hour under ideal conditions. According to teaser, if ELA temperature is between 30 and 40 degrees Celsius and the humidity is between 80 and 90%, will be in the best position to generate drinking water. But in reality there is always a certain percentage of moisture in the atmosphere as well. The bottle might work even in the desert. The prototype includes a filter to prevent dust or insects in the water, but so far no pollutants are filtered. In this sense, Teaser is already posing a version with a filter that will avoid that problem. The development has been christened with an appropriate name, Fontis.
We actually did some modification based on the self-filling water bottle to make our own model.
Now we come to power source. So we can see that the Fontis device uses solar panel as the main energy source for the cooling system. However, it may not provide large enough power input. Therefore, the production rate of the water is quite low. In order to improve the efficiency, we replace the solar power with human power, recycle and generate electricity through a dynamo connected with the bicycle. When the wheel of the bicycle spins, it drives the dynamo through the frictional force. You may wonder that how much energy can be generated by human. In lab experiments, an average in-shape cyclist can produce about 3 watts per kg for more than an hour. For example, around 200 watts for a 70 kg rider. It provides much more energy comparing with a palm-sized solar panel, allowing more energy input for the condensation system.
Next is the condensation part. To achieve condensation, we will use a cooling system. Our cooling system will be divided into two parts: the thermoelectric cooler and the airstream system. Thermoelectric cooler operates by the Peltier effect. The device has two sides. When the DC electric current flows through the device, it brings heat from one side to the other, so that one side gets cooler while the other side gets hotter. The cool side will bring the moisture contained in the air to condense on a special surface. The resultant liquid water then drops into the bottle's main body and is stored. In the airstream system, the airs enter the bottom chamber at a high speed when moving forward with the bike. The airstream generated is used here in place of a fan to press large amount of air into the cooling chamber without needing extra energy source. It can also help to cool down the moisture and support the performance of the small cooler. To improve the performance of the system, the shape of the device is stopped by the little wall perforated non-linearly. Therefore, the speed of the air will be reduced and give the air more time to lose its water molecule. For the calculation, firstly, we will calculate how much energy is needed for cooling down the temperature of the air in the chamber to the dew point temperature. The annual average temperature in Cambodia is 27 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is 78%. By the psychrometric chart, we can see that the enthalpy is about 72 kJ per kilogram. Then, we will calculate the latent heat for gas to liquid phase change. Assume that 150 minutes can produce 1 liter of water. By the equation Q equals to mLV. For 1 hour, the energy required for latent heat is 252 watts per hour. Adding the enthalpy that we just calculated, the total energy required is 272 watts per hour. The in-shape cyclist can generate around 200 to 300 watt per hour energy. Therefore, our device can work normally.
We cannot just drink the water immediately after condensing because the condensed water contains impurities. As the Fontis video mentioned, it has a filter to prevent insects or dust into the water, which are only the larger contaminants. It is yet to have a method to remove other smaller pollutants such as microbial pathogens and volatile emissions in the air from combustion processes. Thus, we have decided to install a reverse osmosis water filter system. In normal osmosis, water flows naturally down its concentration gradient through a partially permeable membrane. This means it flows from the region of low solute concentration to the region of high solute concentration, which is not what we want when we want to purify water. But reverse osmosis is the process of forcing water from a region of high solute concentration by applying pressure in excess of the osmotic pressure, so water flows against its concentration gradient. The membranes are designed to allow water to pass through this layer while preventing the passage of solutes. This process requires pressure to be exerted on the high concentration side. A reverse osmosis water filter system installed in this device at the highlighted region will be simple and straightforward. It has only a few simple components when put together will work to purify the condensed water. The first part is the cold water line valve that fits onto the cold water supply line, which is the pipe from the condenser leading to the bottle. The valve has a tube that attaches to the inlet side of the RO pre-filter. Then comes the pre-filters. There may be more than one pre-filter, the most common being sediment and carbon filters. These pre-filters are used to protect the RO membranes by removing sand, silt, dirt, and other sediments that could clog the system. The semi-permeable reverse osmosis membrane is designed to remove a wide variety of both aesthetic and health-related contaminants. After passing through the membrane, the water goes into a pressurized storage tank. Before going to the RO faucet, the treated water goes through a final post-filter. The post-filter is usually a carbon filter. Any remaining tastes or odors are removed from the product water by polishing it. To conserve water, the RO system has an automatic shut-off valve. When the storage tank is full, the automatic shut-off valve closes to stop any more water from entering the membrane. Once water is drawn from the RO faucet, the shut-off valve then opens to send the drinking water through the membrane. However, it will not be needed in our case because we do not have a very high flow of water from the condenser. Lastly, a check valve is located in the outlet end of the RO membrane. It prevents the backward flow of treated water from the RO stage tank. A backward flow could rupture the RO membrane.
I'll tell you about the advantages, disadvantages, and also inform you about a few facts regarding the water crisis the world faces today. Let's begin with the advantages. Our product uses human power, which is a renewable source of energy. You don't have to worry about contributing to global warming or climate change. Secondly, anybody who can ride a bicycle can use our product. You can be a child, an adult, or an elderly. It simply doesn't matter. If you can ride a bicycle, you will get clean drinking water. Thirdly, many people in this world live in third world countries where they don't have access to uncontaminated drinking water. Our product will help to solve their water security and alleviate their poverty. Fourthly, there are many diseases that are spread through water, such as polio, cholera, diarrhea. It requires a lot of money to cure these diseases, and people in third world countries often don't have enough money to cover the medical cost. Thanks to our product, they don't have to worry about it. Now, let's look at a few key facts regarding the scale of the water crisis the world faces today. 71% of the world's population has access to safe drinking water in their homes. Do you know what this means? 29% don't have access to clean drinking water. 29% in the 21st century. Can you imagine it? And to make matters worse, 2 billion people drink water that is contaminated with feces. Us living in HKUST in Hong Kong cannot imagine it. We spend so much time in showers and waste a lot of water. In other parts of the world have to drink it, let alone use it for shower or for some other purpose. They have to drink water that is contaminated with feces. And if you think the crisis is bad, it is only going to get worse. Our product might be the part of the solution to solve this crisis. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Every product has some disadvantages, some drawbacks. Our product greatest drawback is that it depends completely on temperature and humidity. If the temperature is not high enough, if the humidity is not high enough, you will not get clean drinking water. I know this is a big drawback, but every product has it, and so does ours. Secondly, many of us will think that this is not an efficient use of time, and I agree with that. Us at HKUST spend a lot of our time studying, and to spend so much time just getting clean drinking water is impossible. But you have to understand, people in third world countries don't have this luxury. They'll spend a lot more time to get clean drinking water, and this product might just reduce their time. Thirdly, if the weather conditions are not good, if the road conditions are not good, you'll not be able to use a bicycle, and so you won't be able to use our product. I'll leave the decision of whether to use our product or not up to you, and I'll let you think about it.
I can't believe that such an amazing technology exists, which allows us to drink water just by cycling.
The technology is indeed a revolutionary idea, and for countries like Cambodia, where you don't have access to clean water, you don't need to spend 3 hours to get your water and waste your time.
Children can basically just enjoy the time cycling and get water. Women can travel to the shopping mall and groceries to get water. Property get reduced and leisure time goes up.